Hello everyone, this is GameBros64. I am back at it again with another ice setup. This is going to be for Max Wizards. Unfortunately, I'm not Max Wizards, but this is my overall final set. Okay, this is my finalized wizard, my overall setups, everything that I possibly need. Upon taking it to level 125, it's not going to change whatsoever. It's still going to stay its exact same setup with all its different pieces. And let's go ahead and jump into the overall setup. Then I'll break it down later in the video and show you each individual piece. And then to finish it off, I will show you a quick little deck setup of what I run when I'm questing or solo questing, etc. So the overall setup that we have here for my overall stats is going to be 115 ice damage. It's a little bit low. I used to have in my previous setup beforehand, it was a little bit higher. It was like 117 or 118. And the reason why is I finally got my Defy on my pet, so I decided to run that instead of Boon. So I lost 3 damage to gain 65 universal resist. This is truly amazing. I have 8,300 health with 115 damage, 65 universal res. Literally, oh, it's just mind-blowing how much resist and how much health an Ice Wizard can actually run around with. And then don't forget, your Weaver, when you throw it, you get that at level 100, by the way, in Darkmoor. When you throw it, you get a 75 shield. So you get a 75 shield plus 65 universal resist across anything, even Shadow. And then I also have some extra flat resist down below just to knock off a couple of extra points as well when people go and hit me and stuff like that. So that is just really awesome. For Pete's sakes, I have 71 storm damage, and I'm an Ice Wizard focusing ice damage. And I have this much storm damage on an Ice Wizard. It's insanity. I have max accuracy, and let's see, 425 crit, which is only about 30%. Not too bad. I know when I hit 125, since I'm still at 120. I am going to go down, I think, by 5 or 10% more critical. So that's a heads up there. So my crit and my crit block are actually going to get worse than what it's at now. But for the most part, I don't really care so much about block and crit, is because I have such high damage, high resist, high health, that I can pretty much out-tank anything and still do quite a bit of damage over time. So it just takes a little while to set up. Armor piercing is only 20. I think I went down a little bit since my last video in armor piercing, but that's fine because I wanted more resist, more damage. But 20 armor piercing is still real good. And in fact, you can even go lower in armor piercing. I don't think KI is ever going to do another Rasputin kind of fight ever again where the minions are pretty much immune, and the only way you can kill them is if you have 21 plus armor piercing. I haven't seen any other boss that really ever runs immunity that you can over-penetrate to actually do damage to. And for Rasputin, that was just the minions. That wasn't necessarily the boss itself. That was just the minions. So I don't see KI ever really putting out a boss or minions, maybe minions later in the future, but bosses not so much anymore. They did it once for Rasputin. They never did it again. They never touched on it. So as far as armor piercing, your only really main concern why you need it is to cut through shields, or if you forget to throw converts in your deck. It's really good to have armor piercing just so you can cut through the resist because you made a mistake by forgetting your converts, or say you deleted your converts. That's your pretty much primary goal why you're having armor piercing. Unless you're going into PvP, you definitely need it there. But for PvE content, you really don't need a lot of armor piercing. But on this setup, I still try to go for it even with my jewels, because if I got rid of my armor piercing jewels, my circle jewels, they would only go for crit, and really I don't need crit if I only have 28% at 120. At 125, I'm hoping to break at least 85, maybe even 8,600 health. So hopefully I gain a little bit more health on that way. I'd love to break 8,500 health. And I'm almost there. I'm only 200 down. And then also plus all the new tier jewels when I hit 125. If I get those max tier jewels for health, I'm sure I'll be able to break 8,500 health and maybe even get close to that 9,000 health, but we'll see. 35 incoming, really good, just because when the healer goes to heal you, you have more healing in. Stun resist, you're going to have at 5%. The reason why you have this is because on TC stun, or on TC conviction, you got 95% here for stun resist, and the extra 5 makes it 100%. This is very useful for things like Darkmoor or for PvP. PvP, you don't get stunned. Darkmoor, you don't get stunned on the first fight when you're going for Alistair, you're doing the graveyard. Pretty much every single time you throw a blade, you're going to get stunned. So if you have 100% stun resist, you're not going to get stunned, and you can just keep throwing blades. So there's the benefit for having the 5 stun resist off there. On the back, you have 100% power pip chance, which is a must. Or for me, it is a must. I love 100% power pip chance, and I love 100% accuracy. It's just really great to have that kind of stuff on an Ice Wizard. And then you have 6 Shad Pip bonus. Next, we move on to each individual piece and what they are, and maybe even where you can get them. Pretty much most of the time, the pieces of gear, where you get them is, it says it in the name, Crocopatria. So obviously go to Crocopatria, farm the Exalted Duel, and you'll get this piece of gear here. But this is your standard hat. Every Ice Wizard wears this. Every Ice Wizard needs this. If you have Alistair, it's an alternative setup. You can definitely run it. So there's just an alternative piece of gear you can go for other than Crocopatria. In the description, I will be posting a link to the Wicked Wizards website, and on there we have gear setups posted. So like a written guide out for some really good alternative setups, plus the main goal that you want to kind of go for. So if you guys are watching this video and you actually want like more detailed information of why we choose to run this gear, or where do we get this gear, or other alternatives if you can't necessarily farm Croc Exalted or something like that, and you just prefer something else that's a little bit easier to farm for, on that site there's a few gear setups already there. I'll be posting more of my gear setups on that site, because it's or not my setups, but like setups usually done from other people, and it's really good because it's just a written guide. It's easier for me to post it up on there onto the site, and if I need to change something in a gear setup or a gear video, I can change it there quicker than making a new video, editing it, and then posting it. So that's just a quick heads up of what I'll be doing with the website that we have for Wicked Wizards. Off to the robe, we have the Bone Smasher robe. You're obviously going to have to farm Rattle Bones for this Exalted Duel, and pick up this beautiful robe here. Standard must. This is your best robe you're going to get for Ice, so I highly recommend you run that dungeon. The boots, you're going to be running the 120 Persian boots, Ancient Persian boots. This is really good setup because it gives you really high damage, really high resist. You don't care so much about crit, and it doesn't give you any block, so that's a bummer there. But once again, you don't really care so much about crit and crit block. As you saw, my overall stats for crit and crit block were really low, and it gives you high health. So this is really good for the resistant damage mainly, and that's why I run it. And this is level 120. After level 100, your Fortune Teller Eternal Gaze wand that you get in the Terror Horde pack, when you hit the 110 one, or if you get the 121, or I think the 125 one, it gives you armor piercing instead of power pip chance. So a lot of people like to have higher damage, higher crit, and higher armor piercing rather than just the power pip chance that this one gives you. Personally, I want the power pip chance because it gives me my 100% power pip chance. That is why I'm running it. Dagger, first fight of the graveyard, you get it from the Ghoul monster. This is obviously your best dagger. You can go for Morganth. It's another substitute for it, but personally I like this one the best because it just gives me so much accuracy, which is phenomenal. The necklace is the big change. Most people run either the Morganth, which is your necklace on the right hand side. Mine, I'm going for the left hand side, and that will be your Rasputin necklace. The reason why I'm going for the Rasputin necklace is just because I get more resist. You do lose a blade, however, so you can call there. I mean, if you put on the Morganth one, your resist doesn't go down much. Still 62, and you still have high damage, plus you get an extra blade to your collection, so it's your call there. Personally, I just like to run around with 65 universal resist. I think that's just really insane to see that, plus how much health I have and damage. That's just, oh, it's just mind-blowing how much resist, damage, and health an Ice Wizard could get. Ring is going to be this one. You get it from the plant boss Aphrodite inside Darkmoor. Again, it's level 100. Really good for damage and power pip chance and incoming. Really good 3. And then it gives you almost 600 health, which is really good as well. And then it gives you your square sockets. You can have extra like flat resist in there, your stun resist, or just extra incoming, whichever one you prefer. Your pet, this is it. I finally got it. I finally got the Defy on my pet, and it beats my Yeti. Not by damage, just by resist, and the reason why I like it is just because it has the double resist, triple damage. And then I socketed in Boon because I could socket in accuracy, try to get more accuracy if I wanted to, but I just wanted the extra 3 damage, why not? They both give blades. Now this is the big important takeaway part here about this pet, is they both give you blades. That's a check there. Now the reason my pet is so much even better than the Yeti is because it gives me an ice supercharged blade. Alright, this is for ice, not for storm. Most supercharged blades are usually storm, and that's only for storm. This is a hybrid one, so now you get ice instead of storm. Really good there. Plus, on top of it, you get Balestorm. It's a 35% Balestorm. I think it's the exact same, let me see, of the original Balestorm. No, I just missed it. Where'd it go? Here it is. Yeah, so it's the exact same as the original Balestorm, so there's no change there, but you still get a Balestorm free just off your pet. You get a 40% blade off your pet, plus you get a beautiful 10% supercharged blade that you can use that pretty much just replaces your feints. I mean, you don't have to run feints if you have this card off your pet. If you don't have this, obviously just run a pet that gives you a blade like the Yeti, and then run feints. Or if you want, even if you do have the Freezing Rancor, you cannot run the supercharge if you don't want to and still run feints. I mean, it's totally your call, but personally, this is your main pet you want to go for because it gives you a beautiful big 100% blade off supercharge pretty much, then an ice blade just like your Yeti, plus a Balefrost, which is just a global thing that has more than one use for ice hits, so it's just really good there. And off to the mount, we have the Gulcher mount 3%. This is really efficient because it gives you 3 more damage, and you geez, it's been a while since I remember what pack you get this. I think it's just called the Gulcher pack or something like that. But yeah, this is your overall mount you want to go for. I recommend trying to get a mount that does give you some kind of stat, whether it's accuracy, power pip chance, damage. What else is out there? I think outgoing, for Pete's sakes, maybe even incoming and crit or something. I don't know if I've seen those yet or not. But anything that gives you stats, go ahead and equip it, because a mount with stats definitely beats a mount without stats. So you might as well just go ahead and get some extra little bit of something on a mount. So try to go for it. But if you can get the Ice Gulcher, definitely go for it. 3 more damage. Really good there. And then the deck, you have your Rasputin deck. For the most part, you're going to have pretty much your 2 Ice Blades, Sharpened Blade to enchant it, 3 Epics, and then you're going to have your Barrage, which is your Penguin spell, your Frost Giant, and your Blizzard. Mainly I just use my single blades because if I'm running with some kind of person that can give me my tri-blades or something like that, then they'll be burning their pips and not really caring because they're not really hitting, I'm the hitter. So it's important that they use their tri-blades on me so I don't have to, so I don't have to burn pips. Alright, the whole point of being a hitter is what's the quickest way of me building up my hit and hitting as fast as I can? Well, I can increase the damage output that I do by putting blades on myself. So instead of throwing blades that cost 1 pip, and it takes time for me to build up my pips, I'll use blades that cost no pips, and then the supercharge is optional because it's going to take all your pips regardless the number. So it's optional there if you want to use it or not. I'm still using it because sometimes I don't run feints, and sometimes I even run feints and still use it or not use it even when I run feints. So it's just totally your call. But yeah, that's your overall deck setup pretty much. Your TC is pretty much no different. You have more accuracy and more armor piercing on your infals. I only run 2 because they're really handy dandy in case you forget your convert or something like that, or they throw an unwanted tower at last second, then you can obviously use this or something to pierce through it or over penetrate it. Cleanse, universal out. Every character needs to have this. Every character. I mean, it has so many potential uses for it, getting rid of so much junk that's on you, and it's just really good. I love it overall. Then you have your 2 extra snowball hits. Pretty much these are like the tempests of the deck for ice. They can use at any time. They only cost a shadow pip, and they do a lot of damage, so that's important to have them, because you can use them at any pips, and even at 1 power pip these still hit quite a bit. It's like 1,000 in total or something. And then you have 2 more single blade TCs. They stack with all the other ones. They're ice blades. They cost 0 pips, and they do more damage. They're 45, whereas the normal is only 40, and then the pet's only 40. So this is your overall deck setup, and this is your overall setup itself for ice. This is the way I'm running my ice. If you want to run it, you can. If you want to go for new alternative gear, you can definitely do that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this setup. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. And if you like it, please leave a like. If you dislike it, I mean, you can dislike it, of course. Please leave a comment down below as to why you dislike it and something I need to improve on. I will see you guys in another video, guys, and take care.